let's get started. This is the topic of our talk today. I'm not going to repeat and read the topic, but let's talk about me. Who am I and what do I do? So maybe it's easy to guess that I'm from India. And currently I work at NetApp. I've been with NetApp for more than 6 years. And I moved to Germany around 3 years back. Okay? And I work on OpenStack full-time and with customers doing implementation, POCs, and things like that. So I'm a techie guy, but also with a slightly business perspective. So I moved to Germany 3 years back, and as an Indian guy, you know Indian food is really good. So I used to eat this in India for breakfast every day, okay? And I used to love it, and I miss it so much in Germany today. Like these, they look like crepes, but they are very crispy and nice dosas. They're called dosas. And I miss them because I used to eat these dosas for every day when I was in India, okay? And I thought, what should I do? Maybe I should give it a try myself. So I tried it. So I tried it many times. So you can see I tried it, like it looks awful, right? Like I tried it once, twice, thrice, 4 times. It didn't work out. So what I learned was I need to be an expert to actually make dosas. I need to spend time, learn it, become an expert if I want to make dosas, right? And you can see this guy makes such fine dosas. I don't think if I can ever make such beautiful dosas, right? So for any new open source technology or any kind of technology as well, you need to build an expertise before you can make it really, really refined, and you can be really good at it. And NetApp has been doing storage from the past 24 years, and that's what we excel in. And that's the only thing we do. So we just want to excel in storage, and we want to provide storage to you as our customers. And we are the only biggest company which is doing storage. So there's no other company which does only storage like us, like we do. You know, after EMC's acquisition of Dell, now they are also not just a storage company. So moving on, let's talk about what does NetApp do in the OpenStack community. So we are a foundation member, and we are a gold member. We have representation in the board. And we are a very, very active community member. So we have been contributing to the OpenStack community from the start. You must have heard that NASA and Rackspace founded OpenStack, and both of them are our customers. So we have been working with them from the start. We were in the architectural discussions and things like that. So we have lots of experience as well. We have customers who have actually deployed it and deployed OpenStack with NetApp, and they are using it in production. And we are not only deploying it at customers, we are deploying it ourselves. So our own IT is actually using OpenStack in 2 of their biggest clouds. So our engineering cloud is completely based off OpenStack. So that said, let's look at some numbers. So OpenStack community does a survey every 6 months. And these are the results from April. And you can see NetApp and SolidFire combined are 13% of the production deployment base for Cinder block storage. So that is a big number. If you see the rest of the enterprise vendors, NetApp and SolidFire are way ahead. So we have lots of customers using OpenStack and NetApp together in production environments. And we are doing a lot of development. So these are the 2 projects out of 3. So another is Swift. So we are doing lots of development ourselves. So 14% of lines of code of Cinder, and 17%, actually today it's 21%. I looked at the analysis. So there's a website called Stackalytics, which actually publishes this. So because this is an open source community, you can find this information anytime you want. And we commissioned Mirantis to actually do a lot of development work in Manila. So Manila is a project actually which NetApp founded in OpenStack. So it shows that how committed we are. We are deploying development resources, employees which have lots of experience, and they are doing development work in OpenStack for the community. So that shows that we are committed towards the community, and we are giving our resources to the community to do development work. Now let's get back to the topic that we understand what NetApp is doing and what I do in OpenStack environments. So this is our topic today. We know that the world is changing, the IT is changing, right? And there are lots of new developers, new applications, and there are lots of older traditional applications. And both of them have different storage needs as well. I will be very, very specific today about storage needs and not in general what these platforms need, okay? So today's talk is about new platforms or new applications need very, very easy storage, simple to deploy, and it should just work. They do not want to really spend too much time on their storage systems. So that's the requirement of today, the new applications. But when you talk about traditional applications, they are very demanding from the infrastructure point of view. They need a lot of feature richness from a storage system. They need features like cloning, snapshots, and you name it, they need it, for example, for disaster recovery, high availability, right? So the traditional applications do not take so much responsibility in infrastructure, which the new applications take. For example, new applications will take care of their own high availability. But SAP, for example, applications like SAP would not do that, and infrastructure needs to take responsibility of such things. So that's the topic for today, comparing these two environments. And the agenda today is very, very simple. We just have two customers. So I've picked up two customers, one a very, very new customer, and another a traditional customer, a company which has existed for the last 40 years. Okay? So we'll compare how these companies are doing, what they are doing with OpenStack, and how do they compare with each other, and what do they expect from storage systems. So Elastic, I do not know if many of you have heard the name, but they are a new service provider in the Nordics. And what they offer is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. And both are based on OpenStack. And what they sell themselves as, that they say that we are a platform of performance. So they want to sell performance to their customers, so which is very, very critical to them. And because they're a cloud service provider, it is important for them to meet SLAs, performance as well as service SLAs. So they are a cloud service provider, and they'll have multiple different kinds of workloads. They do not even know what customers are actually deploying on their platform, right? So it is very, very critical to understand this requirement. And they also offer new services like Dockerized services and also DevOps kind of environments. Let's look at what kind of service they provide, okay? So if you go to their website, you will see something like this to deploy a deployment platform. So a Java developer can actually go here, and whatever you see is colored, okay? That is what I have selected in this particular slide. Not slide, but the applications page. So you can see I have selected Tomcat. Is there somebody who doesn't know what Tomcat is? Okay, all of you know. It's a web server, and I have selected 3 instances of Tomcat, okay? And I'm using Nginx to load balance it. I can select the Tomcat version. I can select a MongoDB or any other database that I need. I can also see how much it will cost me. I can make the environment highly available. So a lot of complicated environment setup in one single screen, and you just have to click a few buttons and say create, right? So that is a very, very new kind of, the way you develop things, right? So what do they need from a storage system to do this, okay? So they are a performance platform, so they need that they can serve everything through SSDs, yeah, because they want to offer performance. And because they're a cloud service provider, they want to scale, and not only for capacity, they also want to scale for performance. So for example, if they need more performance, they should be able to add more storage nodes, which provide them only performance and not a lot of capacity, right? So they need such things. And because they are providing services to multiple users at the same time, it is very important that they guarantee performance. If they cannot guarantee performance, they cannot really stay in the market. And because they're a new company, they have all the new developers who want to do really cool stuff, and they're very motivated about it. And whatever they buy, whatever they consume, they want to consume it through web APIs. So automation is even more important to them, that if they buy a storage system, if they cannot use it through web APIs, they do not want to use it. So what did they do? They started actually with the open source solution. And everything was working fine for a certain time. But they started having performance issues. So their customers were complaining about performance issues once more, not only once, but many times. And their engineers were spending lots of time tuning their storage system, tweaking their storage system so that it can perform better for their customers. And it was taking lots of resources and lots of time. So what did they do? They came to us, and we offered them SolidFire. So I do not know how many of you already know about SolidFire, but it is one of the most amazing storage systems that I have seen until today. And it is perfect fit for a cloud service provider like Elastic. So let's look at what SolidFire has to offer. So I do not know if you have been following the OpenStack community for a while, but there was no project called Cinder a while back. There was only Nova, and Nova had the Nova Volumes project. And then they moved Nova Volumes project into Cinder, and SolidFire was actually part of that team, and they were actually founder of Cinder. So they know exactly how storage systems should interact with Cinder. So they have a lot of experience in block storage. And you can scale out for both capacity and performance. All global efficiencies like deduplication, compression are inbuilt into the system. You never have to touch the system or tell it that turn it on or off. So that is always available to you. Everything is available through automated web-based APIs, so you do not need to touch the storage system. And the best thing is quality of service. You can provide minimum IOPS to each and every volume. That is unknown. I do not know if anybody else can do that today in the storage industry. So let's look at how do you configure SolidFire in OpenStack. So this is the cinder.conf file, and you just have to enter these 6 lines. That's all. You do not need to do anything else to integrate SolidFire into OpenStack. That's all. So depending on how fast you can type, I do not know if you type really slow, maybe it will take more than 60 seconds. But if you type really fast, you can maybe do it in less than 60 seconds. And I talked about quality of service. You can actually consume quality of service, which SolidFire provides right from OpenStack. So you do not need to touch the storage system for that. You can just create a volume type and say it should have minimum these many IOPS, maximum these many IOPS, and burst IOPS. So in case a volume is consuming less IOPS than it is allowed to, it gains points. And then if it is a peak hour for that application, it can consume more IOPS. So it is allowed to do that. Now let's look at, I talked about scale out for performance and capacity. Let's see how simple scale out is with SolidFire. So I have 3 data centers in 3 different parts of Germany. And you can see I have enough capacity in all 3 data centers, and also performance, right? Now I see that in Munich, I have a lot more users coming in as, say, a cloud provider, and I'm running out of capacity and performance. What would I do in this scenario? Maybe I buy more storage nodes, right? But in this case, you can just move nodes from Hamburg and Dresden here. And you might say, this looks very simple in your diagram. It cannot be so easy, but it is actually so easy. So how do you do it? You just go to the cluster console, and you do click, click, click. I want to remove this node. And once you do that, it will resynchronize, and you can take out the cables. And on the other side, you bring the storage system, put in the cables, and you do click, 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 it will automatically resynchronize. So you do not really need a storage administrator who is certified, who has spent lots of years of storage administration to actually do this. So your engineers can spend more time on developing business developing your business rather than spending time on performance-related issues and things like that. So this is zero touch, kind of an invisible storage, so to say. Now, if I had a wish for such a storage system, I would like to see it on GitHub. But I don't see it happening. But if it was on GitHub, I'm telling you that everybody who's using OpenStack, at least today, would be using SolidFire already in their environment. It would be like a de facto. But it's not in my hand, and I don't think it will ever happen. But if it was my wish, then I would wish something like this for the whole community. Any questions? Any surprises? No?
Which OS is it based on ONTAP, like NetApp View Storage, total new OS?
No, this is a completely different storage from ONTAP.
So you cannot mix it, it's totally separate?
It's totally separate.
Okay.
Yeah. It's x86 based. It has only Ethernet cables and a power cable, that's it. So it's very, very simple, x86, Ethernet based. These are normal x86 servers that you see. So that was about, yeah.
Are there plans to port functionality from ONTAP to SolidFire or vice versa?
So we have,
Will it combine to one platform on the end?
No, I don't think we have a plan like that I'm aware of. But we have a data fabric vision with which we want to connect all our storage systems. But not, for example, we will never have one storage system which is called ONTAP SolidFire or something like that. Yeah. They will be separate technologies, but they will be able to talk to each other. So for example, if you are aware of ONTAP, we have our SnapMirror technology. And our vision is that we connect all our storage system with SnapMirror so that they can talk to each other. So that's our vision as per going forward. So that was about a new customer, new applications, new development environments, more agile, more easy, everything simple. Now let's talk about SAP, which is a very, very traditional company, and what are they doing with OpenStack?
Sorry, I have still one question. Is it all flash? Is it
it's all flash.
Hybrid?
It's all flash. It's all flash platform, yes. SolidFire. So if you were at the OpenStack Summit in Austin in April, you would see that SAP was actually there for the keynote session. And they talked about how they're using OpenStack to actually deploy their IoT platform. And they talked about how they are going towards open source technologies because they want to innovate faster. Because open source technologies are moving in a faster pace compared to the other technologies, they want to adopt more and more open source technologies so that their innovation can take pace. And they are a company of multiple different clouds. So over time, over the years, they have created these silos of clouds within their environment. And by multiple acquisitions that they did, there are even more clouds in the environment. So there comes the need of a standardized platform with which they can integrate all their OpenStack and all their environments, all their cloud environments. So it's like a cloud of cloud for their different clouds. Okay? And they are highly investing in OpenStack. So I know of two projects like Manila, which is the file share services project that I talked about that NetApp started. And the other is Ironic, which is the bare metal as a service project. So these are the two projects which SAP developers are actually contributing to. So they have a lot of interest in OpenStack themselves, and they are our partner, our customer. This is an image that I took from their keynote presentation about how they're using Cloud Foundry and OpenStack together for their IoT platform. If you are interested, you can watch the video on the OpenStack website. It's very interesting, actually, how a traditional company is moving towards OpenStack. So now that we understand what SAP is trying to do, let's see what are their storage requirements. So I do not know how many of you are from SAP background, but they are traditional, business-critical kind of applications, right? And if you are from a technical SAP background, you would know that how important it is to create test systems, copy-off systems, because they are huge systems, and to create clones is very, very important to them. So cloning feature, for example, from a storage system is a very, very critical thing for them. And then they want multiple protocols. So just block storage is not enough for them. They need file share services, which is very important for them. So for example, we do that with Manila, right? What else? Of course, they do not want any vendor lock-ins. And they want mature, proven platform for SAP, right? So if you are from the SAP world, SAP actually certifies each and every hardware that is actually going to run SAP softwares, right? So a platform which is proven for SAP can only function really well, and that's what they are more comfortable with. And they have requirements for their applications like disaster recovery, backups, which are more infrastructure oriented. So infrastructure takes more responsibility on these perspectives, right? So that's their storage requirement. And one of the talks that I was watching from an SAP guy, he mentions, it is very easy to run a couple of VMs in your OpenStack environment, but running thousands and thousands of enterprise workload VMs in an OpenStack environment actually needs enterprise hardware. You cannot really do with, say, just commodity hardware and try to run enterprise workload, which is business critical for you, right? So that's what SAP guy says, not my statement, just something I thought, just something when I heard made a really good sense to me, so I thought I will share it with you guys. So I talked about Manila. So Manila is the file share services program in OpenStack, and NetApp started this program. And today this program is actually production ready. And I'm working together with multiple customers to do proof of concepts around Manila. For example, we did a proof of concept with Deutsche Telekom, and we did it in 2 phases because they are working on their NFV cloud, and they want to move all their file share services, all their applications which use file share services into this cloud. So that is something which is very critical for Deutsche Telekom as well. And for SAP too, this is a very, very critical program because this enables them to move all their applications into the cloud. So as a testament of that, we have actually written a TR, a technical report, along with SUSE and SAP on how you can use Manila for SAP applications. So we are doing a lot of work together with SAP in partnership. So I said that you need feature-rich storage systems. So some of you are probably here ONTAP customers, and you know that ONTAP comes packed with features. And for a cloud user, a consumer of a cloud, he doesn't want to know about thin provisioning or compression and things like that, right? He doesn't want to care about what is snapshot, how do I make encryption, deduplication. That's not his concern. He just wants to consume storage, block storage. So it is very important to abstract a layer of storage to the end user. So OpenStack and NetApp together, we allow you to create a storage catalog. You can say good, better, best, or whatever. You can divide it as per use cases that you have in your environment, and you can create a catalog Okay, so say I have a gold volume that I want to create, it automatically goes to a SSD disk. I have a silver volume, it automatically goes to a SATA disk, for example. So you can do things like that and abstract the user from all this complication or all this complexity of a storage system. So not all storage companies can do that, and we have done a lot of work on our drivers to enable this integration. And it is very, very easy. You can do it right from OpenStack. So I mentioned that cloning feature is very critical to some customers who run enterprise workloads or who have huge workspaces or databases, because then you can create test systems in a few seconds. So cloning feature that comes with ONTAP is one of the best cloning features that I know about. And we do not actually create new data when you create a clone. It is instantaneous. It just, as soon as you say create a clone, it is automatically created. So there's no data that you write newly with ONTAP. So we have integrated that technology into OpenStack. And say you want to create thousands and thousands of VMs in OpenStack, we will use this cloning feature to actually not consume any storage. So say you are creating RHEL image, we will consume storage only once, and we'll fire up all these VMs. So that is very well integrated by us into OpenStack, and we did some tests. And if you create, say, for example, 1,000 VMs, you boot them with 100 GB each, and in this case, we are using 15 compute nodes. It takes only 26 minutes with ONTAP, and it is 80% less than any other storage system that is our competitor. So this is huge difference. So we have a customer who wanted to do scale-out tests, and they wanted to fire up thousands of VMs and then delete them just to do a scale-out test. Okay? And this worked really well for them in this case because they could do it really fast, and you can see even deletion of these volumes doesn't take too much time. Right? Say you are using all the DevOps tools that you want in the world, and you are doing copy after copy after copy, and it takes 126 minutes, 150 minutes. All your DevOps tools are useless in that scenario, right? Because you are not able to leverage the richness of a storage system in that case. So that was about SAP. Now let's talk about some databases. So I was working with an insurance company in Munich, and they are actually wanting to deliver database as a service to their developers. And they are a completely traditional data center. They have VMware, they have NetApp ONTAP, and they want to use OpenStack. But the main aim is to provide orchestration to their customers, to provide automated databases to their customers. So do you have any idea why a traditional buyer, they have everything which is traditional, VMware, NetApp, Oracle, why would somebody like this want to go towards OpenStack? Right? It is very, very interesting for me as well. Why would somebody go to OpenStack in this scenario?
Cost.
They're not saving costs, they're using everything enterprise. So what does this customer gain in this environment by introducing OpenStack?
Functionality.
VMware has more functionality, maybe.
Not in the orchestration part.
So orchestration is what they have written on top themselves, right? So they have their own self-service portals. So I will tell you what they gain from this. So they have introduced this standardized API of OpenStack. So this is a standardized API, and they have written everything on top of it. So these are their own proprietary tools that they wrote on it. But everything underneath now can be replaced. So today they have VMware. Tomorrow, if they bring in KVM into this environment, they do not need to change this orchestration because everything is talking to OpenStack and not VMware or NetApp or any other hardware or Cisco, right? So that's how they are actually thinking about the future and future protecting them or trying to avoid vendor lock-in in the future. So this is also a use case for a traditional company or traditional application environment where you would use OpenStack. And how we helped them was again with Manila. So they were always deploying Oracle databases with Manila. And they came to us saying that we really want to do this in OpenStack environment. So Manila was not that mature at that moment, but we worked with them, we worked with our developers, and we made sure that the Oracle databases, which always used NFS, are also able to run in OpenStack environments for them. So this is another use case that we see. So how do we enable these traditional applications? Is with Data ONTAP. Data ONTAP integrates with Cinder, Nova, Manila, and Glance. And you can see that the traditional applications, the existing applications, are also moving are also moving towards DevOps kind of environment. They're also wanting to move towards agility, right? And so is, for example, ONTAP moving towards more agility. We have a software-defined storage version of ONTAP. So basically, you can deploy it on top of VMware or KVM. So you can just buy white boxes and deploy ONTAP Select on it, for example. So not only are we moving or helping traditional buyers, we are also moving with them. So traditional applications also want to run in OpenStack. They also want to be more agile. But because they are restricted somehow with the architecture, ONTAP can help them move into the cloud, right? And we also have an ONTAP Cloud, which is Azure or Amazon Web Services version of the So ONTAP helps you move towards modernization. If you are modernizing your data center, ONTAP is the right system for your traditional existing applications. So if you want to test NetApp and ONTAP, you can go to the website. We will provision a lab for you for 4 hours. It's a test drive. You can see how ONTAP, for example, functions with OpenStack. You can see all the richness, how you create everything. If you have engineers who want to test it, you can just go to the website. We have all the other labs as well, which are free, and we provision them in Amazon. And we also have this NetApp.io website, which is one-stop page for containerized technologies and OpenStack for NetApp. So everything that we do open source or everything that we do with containers, OpenStack, you'll find it here. So to summarize, ONTAP, a proven platform for traditional applications, multiple protocols. SolidFire, a zero-touch, invisible kind of a storage system, no real administration required for your new age data center. And Ceph, if you want to invent the wheel yourself, you want to invest a lot of resources, you want to build your own expertise, we have nothing against Ceph. If you want to do it yourself, we have no problems with it. Actually, we can help you do better with Ceph because you can actually integrate, for example, our E-series with Ceph, and you can add more resiliency to your Ceph cluster. So we have totally no problem with Ceph in the same environment as SolidFire or Ceph in the same environment as ONTAP because there are lots of our customers who use both of them together in their data centers. So just to summarize, storage is foundational, right? It is the foundation of your data center. It is the lowest layer in any data center. And if you do not take storage seriously, I do not think you can build a good data center. So we should make sure that we have the right expertise, we are choosing the right storage systems, and we are choosing partners which have the expertise and excellence in storage, right? And again, to point it out, a new company doing cloud development, elastics, zero-touch SolidFire, and a traditional company doing traditional workloads with SAP, for example, using enterprise class feature-rich ONTAP. Thank you. If you have any questions. No? All right. Yeah.
Maybe a minor technical question. You're talking about the IOPS in the SolidFire. Are it front-end IOPS you're talking about or back-end IOPS? If you set the number, or is the number coming out of your
storage system for each and every volume?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's our front-end IOPS.
Yes.
Yes.
But it depends on what kind of block size.
Yeah.
It's talking. So
Matrix for it.
Yeah, if you provision IOPS in GUI,
yeah.
the standard is 4K blocks.
Okay.
You get all the alternatives as well. So
Okay.
you see, if I choose 10,000 IOPS, or you can see with 4K blocks, you see exactly, well, it's with 8K blocks, it's that kind of IOPS.
Okay.
16K blocks.
Okay.
Maybe worth mentioning, if you want to know more about the SolidFire technology specifically, we're hosting another session next door now, and there will also be a demo provided.
Okay. Thanks.
You'll get deep down technical details of SolidFire.
Thanks.
Thank you.